Summary of Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, first published in 1915, is a surreal novella that delves into themes of alienation, identity, and the human condition. The story revolves around Gregor Samsa, a traveling salesman who wakes up one morning to find himself transformed into a gigantic insect. The narrative explores his struggles with his new form and the subsequent impact on his family and their dynamics. Plot summary: Gregor's transformation. The story begins with Gregor Samsa awakening in his bed to discover he has been transformed into a monstrous insect. He struggles to get out of bed and is immediately concerned about missing work, fearing the repercussions of his absence. His initial thoughts reflect his dedication and burden as the family's sole breadwinner. Family reaction. Gregor's family is shocked and horrified by his transformation. His mother faints, his father is furious, and his sister, Greet, is initially sympathetic but becomes increasingly resentful. Gregor's employer arrives at the Samsa household to inquire about Gregor's absence from work, but flees in terror upon seeing him. Isolation and adaptation. Gregor becomes isolated in his room, and his family locks him inside to hide his grotesque appearance from the outside world. Greet initially takes on the responsibility of feeding him, bringing him a variety of foods to see what he can eat. Over time, she becomes less attentive and more repulsed by him. Decline of Gregor's family. As Gregor's condition persists, the family's financial situation deteriorates. They are forced to take on jobs and rent out a room to 3 boarders to make ends meet. The family grows increasingly resentful of Gregor, seeing him as a burden. Gregor's alienation. Gregor's physical transformation mirrors his growing emotional and psychological alienation from his family and society. His inability to communicate exacerbates his isolation. His room becomes a prison, filled with rubbish and neglected. The climax. The tension reaches a climax when Greet plays the violin for the boarders. Gregor, attracted to the music, crawls out of his room, hoping to express his appreciation. The boarders are horrified and threaten to leave without paying. This incident cements the family's decision to get rid of Gregor. Greet's rejection. Greet, who once cared for Gregor, now vehemently declares that they must get rid of him. She insists that the insect is no longer Gregor and that they should not be burdened by him any longer. Gregor, heartbroken and feeling utterly unwanted, retreats to his room. Gregor's death. That night, Gregor succumbs to his injuries and the neglect he has suffered. He dies alone in his room. The family feels a sense of relief upon discovering his death the next morning. They dispose of his body without ceremony. New beginning. The novella concludes with the Samsa family deciding to move to a smaller apartment, signifying a new beginning. They take a tram ride to the countryside, feeling optimistic about their future. Greet, in particular, is seen as blossoming into adulthood, symbolizing the family's fresh start. Analysis. Metamorphosis is a profound exploration of themes such as alienation, identity, and the absurdity of human existence. Kafka's use of a fantastical premise, Gregor's transformation into an insect, serves as a vehicle to examine deeper psychological and existential issues. Themes. Alienation. Gregor's transformation isolates him physically, emotionally, and socially. He becomes a stranger in his own home, cut off from meaningful interaction with his family and society. Identity and self-worth. Gregor's sense of identity is tied to his role as the provider for his family. His transformation strips him of this role, leading to a crisis of identity and self-worth. Family dynamics. The story highlights the fragile nature of familial relationships. The initial sympathy and care that Gregor receives from his sister gradually turn into resentment and hostility as his condition persists. Absurdity and existentialism. Kafka's narrative reflects the absurdity of human existence and the arbitrary nature of fate. Gregor's transformation and its impact on his life illustrate the existentialist idea that life can be irrational and devoid of inherent meaning. Symbolism. The insect. Gregor's transformation into an insect symbolizes his feelings of worthlessness and alienation. It also reflects how society and his family view him as a burden and a source of shame. The locked door. The door to Gregor's room represents the barrier between him and the rest of the world. It symbolizes his isolation and the family's desire to hide him from society. The violin. Greet's violin playing symbolizes the remnants of humanity and culture in the Samsa household. Gregor's attraction to the music highlights his lingering connection to his human identity. Conclusion. Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka is a masterful exploration of the human condition, offering a bleak yet poignant look at themes of alienation, identity, and the absurdity of existence. Through the surreal narrative of Gregor Samsa's transformation, Kafka delves into the complexities of family dynamics, the struggle for self-worth, and the inherent absurdity of life. The novella remains a timeless piece of literature, continuing to resonate with readers and inspiring discussions about the nature of humanity and the existential dilemmas we face.